Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, are the Atlanta Hawks the real deal? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to check out our Dreamerspro premium platform that we're launching next week, and be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro website, dreamerspro.com. With that being said, let me just get into the content here. So, I've been following the, obviously all of us have been following the season so far, and it's been a pretty funky start, right? We've seen some teams come out early on this season and get off to a hot start, right? But there's one team that I've been paying attention to, and that's the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks have been one of these teams that have really been building on their foundation and getting ready to build a playoff team. And it seems like this year that this team is ready to become a bona fide playoff team and go out there and make some noise. Now, so far, I know it's still early in the season, but so far, it looks like the Atlanta Hawks are the real deal. If I look at the standings in the Eastern Conference, it turns out that the Atlanta Hawks are actually the number 3 seed, but they're actually tied for the number 1 record in the Eastern Conference with the Philadelphia 76ers, the Pacers, and themselves. Now, most people, when you think about the Atlanta Hawks, no one really considers them to be a playoff juggernaut or a playoff team. Why? Because they haven't been good for a very long time. The last time the Atlanta Hawks were a real playoff threat was when they had Al Horford, Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, and these guys when they were taking the Boston Celtics back then with Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo, who I'm going to get to in a little bit, to 7 games in the first round of the playoffs in 2008 when they went on to win the title. That was when the Atlanta Hawks were really solid playoff powerhouse. But it's been a pretty long time since they've actually been pretty good in the NBA. Let's just be honest. And a lot of their success has been predicated on their young star, Trae Young, funny enough, who we've never actually covered on our channel before. And today is going to be the first time that we're actually covering Trae Young. Now, Trae Young is a young stud in the NBA. He plays kind of similarly to Stephen Curry. Now, he made an all-star team for the first time last season in 2020. He made his first all-star team, and he was on the all-first rookie team in 2019. Now, last season, Trae Young averaged 29.6 points per game, which is a lot for a point guard, playing 35.5 minutes per game. He shot 43.7% from the field. He shot 36% from the 3 as a sophomore in the NBA, shot 86% from the free throw line, got you 4.3 rebounds, 9.3 assists, and 1.1 steals per game. And the guy is 6'1", 6'1", weighing 180 pounds. So he's a pretty slim dude at 6'1" to be that light. Now this season, however, the guy's averaging 30.6 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, which is pretty good for a 6'1" point guard in the NBA, and getting you 8 assists per game. Now, those numbers are great, right? But the difference with these numbers is, this season, is that they're actually translating into wins for the Atlanta Hawks. And this year, it looks like the guy's matured as a playmaker. I've watched some of his games, especially the game that they had against the New Jersey Nets, the game that they had like a 145 loss to the. I think they scored like 141 points to the Nets, 145, when Kyrie Irving just went bananas in the fourth quarter, and AD had like 30 plus points that game. But in that game, in pivotal stretches in that game, you could see the maturity in the play of Trae Young. Like last season, it looked like certain shots that he would have forced and tried to score. Now he was making plays for his teammates, and it seems like he matured as a point guard. The other thing to pay attention to is the addition of Rajon Rondo. Now, they didn't acquire Rajon Rondo, in my opinion, to be the starting point guard of that team. I think the reason that the Atlanta Hawks went out there and got him is that they wanted to add a very, very, very smart basketball player to that team that had a very high IQ, that had been in the league for a long time. They could actually probably mentor Trae Young and help him become an even better point guard in the NBA. If you saw the run that the Lakers went on last season, Rajon Rondo was pivotal to their success. Rajon Rondo has led the league in assists at least 4 times in his career, led the league in steals, if I'm not mistaken. He's been on multiple all-first NBA defensive teams. The guy is a two-time NBA champion. So in my opinion, it looks like he has a Hall of Fame career and resume right now. And for them to go out there and add a player like that to back up Trae Young, it tells you that they're still trying to develop Trae Young's playmaking and his IQ, and to have somebody like that in the foxhole and somebody that you can just always lean over and tap on his shoulder to ask him for some advice, or someone that can point out certain things on the floor that they may be seeing that you may not be aware of, I think is going to bode really well for this team. Now, so far the New Jersey Nets are the heavy favored team in the Eastern Conference. Most people are picking them. Then of course you have the Milwaukee Bucks, who are also going to be a player in the East, and then you have the Philadelphia 76ers, who have kind of been up and down. Like, they had the talent, but they've never kind of lived up to their talent. And this year, with the addition of Doc Rivers as their head coach, some people believe that Doc Rivers is going to be able to bring the best out of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and get them to work really well together. So that's something that we're kind of paying. Those are the main teams that are kind of in the Eastern Conference. But the Atlanta Hawks, going into this season, I don't think anyone had them pegged as being one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference. Now, granted, it's still pretty early in the season. I think most teams have only played 6 games or so, 5 to 6 games so far. But the Atlanta Hawks are off to a hot start, right? It's not like as if they're not winning games. They just beat the New Jersey Nets. I know the Jersey Nets beat them, but they beat the New Jersey Nets, and you just don't beat the Nets just like that with Kyrie Irving and these guys. It's not an easy team to beat, and you can see how close they played them during their first matchup, and for them to turn around and beat them again, it lets you know that they're a serious team. Now, if I look at the Atlanta Hawks roster, they have a nice sort of complement of players. They have Trae Young. They have I hope I pronounce his name right. Bogdan Bogdanovic. I hope I pronounce his name right. They have a young stud in John Collins, who I like a lot. They have Clint Capella. Then they also have Rajon Rondo. Then they added Danilo Gallinari, who is a veteran in this league, a great shooter, a big body. They have him. They have Cam Reddish, Kevin Huerter, and they have some other players that I haven't heard of. But it seems like they have a nice blend of young and old players for that roster, and that's something that I think that this team needs. They need a lot of young blood, but a lot of veterans that can also, help the younger guys mature as the season goes on. So far, they look like a pretty confident group. Now, I'm not going to say that the Atlanta Hawks are going to finish with the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, like after 6 games. I'm not saying that. But so far, given the fact, they've played some pretty bad teams as well, but so far they've won the games that they're supposed to win, and that's a sign of maturity. If you beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, that's a sign of maturity, that you're not giving away games. A lot of teams, they give away games to teams that they have no business losing to, but the Atlanta Hawks look like they're competing. They've beaten the New Jersey Nets, which are a serious team in the Eastern Conference, but they're also beating the teams like the Chicago Bulls that they have to beat, and the games that they shouldn't give away. So for me, looking at them so far, it looks like they're pretty legit. Now, obviously, we're going to have a better sense of this team 20, 30 games in, but so far, they've been doing pretty well, and I'm going to keep my eye on them. So what I want to know from you guys is, do you think so far that the Atlanta Hawks are the real deal? And do you think that they can actually be a legitimate playoff contender in the Eastern Conference as the season goes on? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.